All right, I'm just getting psyched up here with a joint and some coffee. I gotta finish an edition, this Squanch print I was making back in December 2021. And it's the last print I was working on, and it's still here in these screens. So I gotta finish the edition. I'm working on a green and green one. So I'm just going to pull a couple of test prints now and make sure everything's working good, and then I'll do a full edition of 25 prints. I might do some other color combinations as well. This brown and blue one was from the Dirty Burger Print Club in December. And then I haven't printed since then because, well, first I threw out my back in January, which was bad. And then all my screens are actually fucked. So I can't actually print anything new. Anyway, I'll just finish up these, and then I'll meet you over at the cutting table where I gotta cut down this big art paper into smaller 8x10 pages this size. Okay. Now, rule in the studio is not to put your coffee down next to the paper. Sometimes I break it, but believe me, there's been tears, so I'm not going to fuck around. Today, let's put it next to my computer. This paper cutter can only do 3 pieces at a time, really. It's my pride and joy, this thing, but it could use sharpening. If ever there's a zombie apocalypse, I plan to yank this bad boy off and just like, you know, make my way to the food depot, I guess. You know what, this is enough for now, so let's just go back over here to the printing table and set things up over here. Now with screen printing, every layer of ink has a separate screen, and it's like a stencil. You see parts are open or not blocked, parts are blocked. And as we're going to do now, we're squishing ink over the screen, which will deposit a thin layer down on the paper underneath. It's the same way t-shirts are made. I was going to show you my t-shirt, but this one might be not. Oh, I'm wearing an unprinted shirt. Never mind. So this is the bottom color, and then the other screen will be used for the top color. These things here are called hinge clamps. And so the little screen gets clamped in. More light. Now, so let's have a look at these inks. It's good. This seems like a good consistency. Sometimes they get a little dry. You gotta add some water. All right, I gotta turn on the vacuum here for the vacuum table. So I guess I'll turn down the volume for you guys, but I gotta put these on for now. Have a sip of coffee. And fire in the hole. Okay, what's up? It's Jacob in the editing booth here. So I put a fresh piece of paper underneath the Mylar on the table there. I can see that there's some ink from my previous print. I was printing business cards and didn't clean off the Mylar, so I'm just giving it a little spray there and clean it off. Now the Mylar is looking better. So I'm just pulling this print to see where the ink is going to fall on the table, and so I put some ink on the screen. Now first I'm going to flood it here without putting pressure down, so I'm not pressing this down. See, I'm just loading the screen basically. Now I'm pressing and boop, a layer of ink goes down onto the Mylar. And now I'm going to position the paper underneath so it's centered. And I'm actually going to do that by using the other print because it's also on the same size paper, so it should be all good to go. You can see I just checked my hands for ink there. Inky fingers is the worst. So yeah, this is the previous print, and so as long as the background is covering the same area, it should all be centered the same as the other one. As long as the paper is the same size, it's the same screen, so everything should be consistent. Sometimes shit gets a bit wacky, like inconsistencies arise for no apparent reason, but when everything's dialed in, screen printing works really well. So now that the paper's in place, I'm just putting, these are registration tabs, just pieces of paper that I tape down and put right along the edge. And so when I put the next piece of paper down, it's going to be right in the exact same place. Boop. And I'm not sure what, I must have wandered off. Maybe I'm smoking a joint or something. I'm just going to drink some coffee here. Alright, so now press down on the screen, pull the ink across, and boom. There we go, layer on the paper. Now I'm investigating it. Does everything look okay there? Oh, I'm pulling another, it must have been a bit of a thin layer. There's probably some block parts in these screens too, so I was sometimes pulling it twice helps like fill in some like imperfections. So boom, just pulled a bunch of prints. Now I'm cleaning off most of the ink before I pull my last one, because this time I didn't flood the screen afterwards. Oh, I'm talking, hold on. Hardening the screen relatively quickly if you let it. So you got to sort of keep printing while you're working. I mean, it would take a few minutes probably for it to harden, but maybe less on a hot, dry day or hot, dry environment. So you want to make real sure you wash out the ink real good, basically. So I first do a nice long water wash. Tape is used to mask off areas where there's little pinholes or parts where the stencil's broken down, or the edges of the screen like this. Oh my god, I got no fingernails in this hand. Whoa! Here's a good thumbnail. Oh yeah. Tools of the trade. I'm using the same crappy old piece of Mylar for so long. I always forget to order new stuff. It's unbelievable. It's not really big enough. Like when I do bigger prints, 12 by 16, I can't do too big on this table, but oh my heavens. Trials and tribulations. This screen has all the detail on it. Foreground stuff. Clamp it in. And then I'll put a layer down on this film, and then I can move this around so it's registered, so the inks are in the right place. Put this aside, and with the vacuum on, this paper won't move. Then I'll, boom, squish the ink across, and if everything goes well, it should be registered and you'll have a nice print. Or at least it's usually close enough, or that's what you're hoping for. Things move around a little bit, so there's always some variation, but hey, that's the charm of screen printing. Stay hydrated, people. Oh yeah. So once again, it's going to get loud in here. was a fuck up. I didn't put this layer down. So that is a very off registration print. I guess it's a good example of extreme bad registration. So here, let's put this aside and we'll try that again. So this time I'll put the paper this down, turn on the vacuum. Okay, back in the recording booth here, drinking coffee. So here I'm just putting the ink down on the Mylar so I know where the ink is going to fall. Because of the hinge clamps on the screen, the screen falls in the same place every time, unless something's going wrong, but that's another story. Now here I'm moving the paper underneath until it looks just right and all the right parts are covered and the two layers are lining up. And when it's looking good, I bring the screen down and boop. Now we have a look, and oh, there's a big ink splotch there. So I got to get out my tape, and I'm just going to mask that part off on the screen so the ink won't be going through there anymore. And camera goes back on the tripod. And oh, frame it up. And we'll get another piece of paper with the first layer of ink on there. I guess I should have probably edited this out a little shorter first. And once again, I'm going to register things up. So if I'm only doing a few prints, I'll do this just print by print. But if I'm doing a bunch, you can also make this a bit faster by putting the registration marks on. Sometimes. Oh, that one's looking good. Sometimes it's really hard to register the sheets. This print's relatively easy to do. By planning the layers ahead of time, you can make it so it's sort of easier. This one I actually could have made even easier by, like you see on the bottom layer how the word Squanch is in white there. Like that could have been all just green, and then even if the dark words were off by even a few millimeters, it wouldn't, there'd be no difference. But as it is, it would show up. Anyway, that's here nor there, really. Because sometimes having the little like white border, the off registration border, looks good. People, try to plan for that and even design like to fake that, basically fake off registration as part of the design. I try to make things registered, and if they're not, then that's just the way it goes. And again, like I've said before and will say again, it's all part of the charm of the craft. This print is a relatively simple 2-layer print. Some prints are really tough to register, and then when you have multiple ink colors, like 3 or more, every time you're adding a layer, you're adding a chance to screw things up or for things to go wrong somehow. The Squanch. So I'll just finish cleaning up here, then we'll have a closer look at those prints we just pulled. Take the tape off. So let's have a look here. So it's pretty good. The registration's good on these ones. Out of the 6 prints that I made, 3 of them are basically fuck ups. 3 of them are good to go. I mean, that one for obvious reasons. That one's got the blotch. And then this one, I had inky fingers, it looks like, or something, but a bit of ink got over on the edge, which is a print no-no. I mean, it's funny, there is actually a pinprick that comes through on these 3 prints, and that one's fine, but this one to me seems unacceptable. So those will be seconds, basically, and then these 3 will be part of the edition. This was state 1 of the edition, an edition of 36, as you can see by the numbers there. And then this is an edition of 25, and this one will be marked state 2. So here, let's actually sign these ones up and add them to the edition. Now, according to my careful records, I know that I've already done 1 to 5 of this color editions of 25. So this will be 6 of 25, and then that indicates that it's state 2 of the edition. This one being state 1, which doesn't have to say anything. And then Jacob. Now this edition was started in 2021, so that's how I'll date it, even though I'm printing it in 2022 now. Actually, I also do see a second little pinprick of ink right there. But see, those don't really bother me. Those are part of the charm of screen printing. For some reason, this one is a bigger... It's pretty arbitrary, I guess, but hey, thus is the life of an artist. So 6, this will be 7 of 25 here. And sign, and 8 of 25. All right, and then I'll add this, make the listing, add some stock to the website here again. Active. Make sure that worked. TPB prints. Oh. So even that little bit of screen printing, I actually feel my back feels a bit stiff. It was feeling stiff already, but that didn't help. I'm definitely going to be dialing back the screen printing this year. I'm not going to be printing a whole lot necessarily. Mainly I got to sell more of my stacks of prints that are around. So all this shit everywhere here. All these prints were all made the same way by exposing screens and building up the layers to create these all these millions of friggin' prints. Yeah, boom, that's screen printing. So what I gotta do is cut a bunch more pages down, do another 20 or so more prints, of which I expect, maybe 3 of them will be fuck ups, now that I sort of know what to watch out for. And then I might do a 3rd color combination as well. Who knows? All right, thanks everybody. Till next time. Beware the squanch. Beware the squanch. Beware the squanch. Yo guys, you can also use the code SQUANCH to save $5 off your screen print order at baaam.ca. There's also free shipping in North America until I can figure out how to change the settings. Peace.